But okay.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Music Industry Insights Worldwide. Today we've got Kripa with us. Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for
Thank
having me.
thank you so much for coming along today. Do you want to tell the listeners a little bit more about yourself, where you're from, and what you do?
My name is Kripa, and I am a singer, and I grew up in the States, up and down the East Coast. Currently, I'm living in Puerto Rico,
Thank you.
and I'm a singer. I pursued music and was very invested in music my whole childhood. Took a little hiatus for work and my professional job, and then dove back in a little over 2 years ago. And a lot of things have happened since then. And I'm just here to chat about that a little bit with Saskia.
Yeah. Sorry, I had to turn my washing machine off. I just remembered it was going on. I didn't want it to go off. Sorry, listeners. I just found
No
how
problem.
did you get into music and how long have you been doing that for now, Kripa, as well?
So my resurgence of music has been, I mean, I guess it never left me, but me really diving in again for the second time in my life, really a little over 2 years ago. I
Mhm.
remember it was September of 2023. I kind of told myself, if I don't really go for this now, I'm going to regret it. And I went for it, and now no regrets.
Well done. I'm so glad. And when did you start originally?
So, I mean, I've been surrounded by music my whole life. So I started taking lessons when I was probably 5, 6 years old,
Mhm.
and I grew up in the DC area, and then lived in New York City, Philadelphia. But my childhood was in the suburbs outside of DC, and I was trained in my formal music training was actually Indian classical music.
Oh, wow.
And that's what I was trained in. And I sang my whole childhood. But, I was born and raised in the States. So I was exposed to all cultures. And I would just listen and just sing by ear all the other music that I would hear also, just for my own enjoyment. But yeah, that was my actual formal vocal training. I did karaoke, but I was in music competitions and things throughout. And it just never really occurred to me that, music would be something that I would pursue as a profession. And
Yeah.
when it came to deciding what to do, I chose the professional path. I completed college. The itch was was still there. And I remember after college, I sang in a band one summer, and it was really fun. We did some fusion stuff. It was really cool. But I sang like some hooks to some neo soul, hip hop style songs too, and
Can I
did
ask?
that around DC, and then just kind of let that go, and went to medical school. So,
Very varied. That's interesting.
yeah.
And what kind of genre of music do you do now, Kripa?
I would say it's pop. It's pop
Yeah.
music,
Mm.
and I think what's kind of nice about the journey that I've been on, is that I practiced medicine, and I had a lot of life experience doing that, and
Yeah.
I think that if I had gone for music when I was younger, really, really went for it. I mean, I'm sure we all go through things. There's a certain level of things that I could sing about in my experiences, but I really had a whole other like really in-depth life experience
Yeah.
doing that, where you
Good.
see a lot of difficulties and hardships that people go through, and really get a lot of perspective on life and people from all walks of life. And so when I dove into music again, um, I wanted to make music that sort of I could sing about those sorts of topics, but in a fun way, just something that is about community and brings people together and kindness and empathy and things like that. Like that's sort of the idea for the brand that I'm trying to create. And so that's what I would say kind of embodies the underlying theme of the music that I've released. And I have this entire album that will be out fully in early 2026. There's still three more songs to record, and get those completed. But as of now, I've released seven. And I would say each of the songs I've released, they're pop, they're fun, they're good vibes.
Yeah.
Some are more upbeat, some are more, slower and sweet. But, I would say that they kind of encompass the story of, I guess, all-encompassing love, I guess,
I was
and
just
connection.
asking you what
Yeah.
the storyline was. So thank you for
Yeah.
answering that as well. That sounds awesome. And well done and congratulations for what you're doing. And I hope you get all the success you need with the new album. So yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
exciting. So tell us, what kind of challenges and barriers have you faced? Obviously, being a woman of color, also being in the music industry, what kind of issues and barriers have you faced doing that?
To be honest, I know that I faced any barriers so far. I've truly, just in all honesty, I put myself out there on social media, and I learned how to record myself really well. And with like the using, because learning how to record yourself, the technical aspects of things, I think that that can be really, really challenging. So I knew that if I was going to sing a cover and put it online, I wanted it to be as best quality as I could get it. And um, I if there are challenges, maybe I'm just blind to them, but
Well, it's
I
not
just am, what's
unique.
that?
It's unique to the person. So it can.
Yeah. But I think what basically the way this whole opportunity for me, all the opportunities have unfolded is that, I've connected with people through social media and people send emails through the links they have in my bio. And I guess the producer that I'm now working with, who is helping me make these really good recordings of these songs,
Yeah.
heard some of my clips, and I think that the reason why we connected was kind of unique in the sense that I think he was very intrigued by my backstory and my background in medicine, because he has a charity called Music Has Healing Power,
So,
and he brings music therapy to hospitals. And I worked in a hospital, and that's something that I am still developing, like a music therapy program for kids.
um,
So it all kind of tied in, and we just had such a symbiotic sort of connection that we thought it made perfect sense to work together. So that's kind of how it went down. So I don't know how to answer that question in terms of challenges. It just things sort of unfolded sort of organically, I guess.
yeah, well, it's how you want it really. And it's really nice to hear that you don't have those challenges and barriers, because certain people do face those challenges and barriers, which is why I like to highlight it.
Yeah, and I'm sure that it does exist in the industry. Don't get me wrong. I
Yeah.
mean, in terms of for what I'm doing, and I'm starting small and I'm trying to grow, who knows what will happen when you are trying to get people to back you up and things like that. Like I'm sure that those sorts of challenges do exist. I think I'm not at that stage yet, I guess.
Okay, well, fingers crossed it all goes well, and thank you again. So tell
Yeah.
us a bit more about the music scene, where you're at right now. What's going on? How is that?
So for me, I would say I'm still in the early stages. I mean, it's been a lot of work. I've done so much just to get to this point, but it's crazy to say that I feel like it's just the beginning, because I feel like
Yeah.
I've only touched the surface.
Mhm.
And I'm still sort of in that balancing act stage, just figuring out what the theme of what you want to put out there is, I think is really important. So it was important to me that in this album I have a cohesive idea of what I want to do, not just random songs that I like to sing, just random covers. I wanted it to really tell a story, and I think that that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Then you got to think about, how do I present that and who I am and my whole process on social media.
Yeah.
And I try very hard to have a very active social media on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and grow there. But just showing, who I am and what I'm about, showing different aspects of my personality, like the fun side, the goofy stuff, that kind of content, relatable things, but also like the behind the scenes and making the songs. And people have really seen me from, I think, the loyal followers that I've had, some of those people who have been there from the beginning have seen me from singing, posting a blurry video of me, singing a cover, to really just like kind of evolving over these last 2 years to what I'm doing. So, it's kind of nice to have had a handful of people that are loyal and still, there even
Yeah,
now.
right. They're part of your journey, and they're with
Yeah.
you from the beginning, which is really, really nice.
It's nice because I think that that's what music is about. It's really about connecting, and that's what I wanted to do when I started doing it. I didn't have a vision of, I'm going to be this or I'm going to be that. I was
Right.
just following my heart and doing what I loved,
As you should.
and connecting and spreading, positive vibes like kindness and empathy, and just and more connection. That's what I wanted to do, and I feel like the music does that, but also it's just been such a joy connecting with people from all over the world, and people who are rooting for me. So that's really nice. There's also occasionally, like, rude people on the internet too, particularly on YouTube, but you just have to brush those things off and, keep moving. But so I'm at that stage of developing that, building my website, what message do I want to send to people? Um, and and I'm starting to get into the live performance scene. I've been doing it not as consistently as I would like. I think just because just with the songwriting and producing, getting the songs produced, and it's so much.
Yeah,
And
right.
with family and everything, it's hard to fit everything in. So I've kind of taught myself that, this is not going to be a race for time. It can't be. I feel like I
Yeah,
started this whole thing later in my life, so I
and we
can't
all
I
did.
can't look at time. I just have to
Yeah,
see where things unfold and do it, let it happen organically and naturally, but also, you know, being intentional in the steps that I'm
labor of love.
taking.
It sounds like
So,
a labor of love, and it sounds great. Yeah, please don't rush it. Take your time, and you're doing
yeah.
really, really well. And I'm sure you are going to do well. So yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, people say it doesn't matter, what stage in life you are, like how old you are. It's really just about, do you connect with fans, or can you connect with your audience? So my goal over the next year is to really do more live performance and connect with people more. So in the live setting. So
Post this, and we'll help share the news for you for sure.
yeah.
So, what kind of advice would you give to an upcoming artist at the moment, trying to make it in the music industry, trying to get their foot in the door? Is there any advice you could pass to them that might be useful?
So one thing I've learned that this is really like a wild world. It's like the wild, wild west. And I think that you have to define sort of what is your why? Like, why are you doing it? Because, my professional life, it was hard to get there, but it was very structured. You do XYZ, you go to school, you pass certain tests, you can do your job. And I think a lot of, professions like that, or corporate jobs, are sort of like that. Whereas the artistic world and the music world, it's just all over the place. And I think there's different types of success you can have, but it's very hard. It's not an easy road, I don't think. And you have to be able to kind of take feedback or criticism or rejection and all
Oh,
of those things.
yeah,
And I think that if you want to really succeed in it, you have to kind of understand your why, because that's what drives your passion. And if that passion isn't there, it's hard to kind of work through all those things. You have to want it so badly that you're going to work through all of that, and you're going to find a way and figure it out
have
and have
to.
some
Yeah,
grit.
yeah.
Yeah.
Find the light at the end of the tunnel. Absolutely. It's not always
Yeah.
easy, but you just keep striving for sure.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and mental health is a massive part of music as well. And you talked
Oh
about
yeah.
so how do you look after your mental health and make sure that you're looking after yourself, because it can be very demanding.
I think it's funny you asked that, because I think that I'm at right now at the last like 2, 3 months, I've sort of realized, okay, I need to take a breather,
Yeah,
because I've been going 100 miles a minute
yeah,
for the last 2 years or a year. I think I hit the 2 year mark. And interestingly, I was supposed to be, I wrote a song because I was trying to create with my producer a holiday song, but because I live in Puerto Rico, wanted to make it kind of islandy and kind of a cool, like, holidays in the island sort of vibe. And I wrote this whole thing, and I'm not an expert songwriter yet. That's another skill that I'm developing.
yeah,
And, I think the holiday songs are starting to get released, like, by the end of November. And I was just feeling so much pressure to kind of get it done. And I kind of had to say, you know what? I don't think I can do this year. I'm going to take a breather,
yeah,
and let's put that little project on hold, because the holidays aren't going away. We'll do it maybe for next year. So I'm somebody who's very hard on myself. I work really hard, and I when I say I'm going to do things,
you'll
I
do.
always deliver.
Yeah,
Somehow I get it done, and I think I got to a point where I said, this is so overwhelming, and I got to take a break.
yeah,
And I think it was the right decision. Just kind of, I allowed myself to kind of relax more, watch a little bit more television and things like that I didn't have time for, because I was spending every minute that I have, just trying to do music related stuff. And it's been such a learning curve, just learning how to release music and understanding that and navigating all the streaming platforms and all of it. It's a lot. So I allowed myself a little break, and I'm allowing myself that till probably the end of this year. But still strategizing and doing my social media and trying to figure out, my next strategic move. So
yeah. And it's really important you touched about strategy, because I think that's extremely important in any artist's career as well.
yeah.
But also structure. Now, there's not much structure in the music industry itself. So how do you build your structure and your routine? How does that work?
Yeah, I think that there's so many different types of music careers that people can have. There's some people that do performance after performance locally and they're primarily live and people have a living doing that.
Yeah,
There's people who have their own business and then they do music also and it's all related. Um, there's people who perform just at like certain special events, like corporate events.
yeah,
So me personally, I see myself as somebody who can perform the style of songs at certain very specific wellness or corporate events and that sort of thing while building sort of some sort of business, side by side. Of course, there's always the fantasy that things could be bigger and I'm always a really, really realistic person and I'm like, no, I'm gonna shut that thought down. But and then there's people who go on tour. So, there's so many different types of so many different ways you can build a career. So I think it's just important to define what is it that you want or what do you see realistically and build your structure around that. And when you're building the structure, also making kind of like general plans, okay, this month, let me try to realistically accomplish these four things
yeah.
and
That's sensible.
set realistic goals,
Yeah,
like just general outlines of goals. I think it's important to set that. Writing things down helps a lot. Um, so I think that just knowing what your sort of what you think is your realistic goal in the near future and setting like a schedule that's reasonable
yeah.
so that you can do one thing at a time, then you get more things done. After 6 months, you say, wow, look at all the stuff I did.
Believe
So
I've actually achieved all this stuff. Yeah, I do that all the time. Yeah, it
yeah.
really helps. So tell us a little bit more about like, you're building your career right now, you're putting out the music. Where do you see yourself in the next couple of years and what's going on for you next?
So I touched very briefly on my career in medicine. So
Yeah,
I was in pediatrics and neurology. It's like it's so different from what I'm doing now. But I think what I've realized is that it's actually all very connected because music is such a healing thing. It's
yeah,
music,
yeah,
yeah. And there's actually a science to it. There's vibrations that go through your body. It's a great supplement to so many medical treatments and things. And when children are in the hospital, when people come and they sing certain treatments and things that they're going through, like they're more bearable. There's so much value to it. So, my end goal, I think that is realistic is, being somebody who can sing songs that kind of are fun and relatable, that are upbeat, but you can perform in small events, intermixed with covers, perform in small events or corporate events, wellness sort of venues. But also, I have this my dream is like have a music and medicine kind of music therapy sort of program for kids, like kind of like a unique music class that's like healing for children. And I think that the two things that I'm doing kind of go hand in hand. So we'll see if I can manifest that and put in the work and see if it happens.
I think that's a great idea. And I think if we have more of that in schools as well, especially with the mental
Yes.
health that children face at the moment, especially
Oh,
online social
100%.
media,
Yeah.
I think it'd be really good for mindfulness and, healing. For
Oh,
sure.
yeah. There's very limited music programs, I think, nowadays in schools, and a lot
Right.
of schools don't even have music teachers.
Exactly.
So if there was something a little bit more tailored for mental health and things like that, and connection and
Yes.
empathy for others, some sort of music program like that, I think that could be a huge help
Totally
for
agree.
people in school. Yeah.
Totally agree. Both my parents were deaf, and I was in children's home and foster care. And my
Oh
way
my
of
goodness.
communicating was through music, and it was a way of healing. But then
Hmm.
I also went to a cathedral school where I won a scholarship, so I was able to train and do classical training and able to perform all the time. But
Oh, wow.
it was hard. It was hard work and a lot of dedication, but it was really, really worth it for sure.
Oh, yeah.
It really
Oh,
has.
yeah. I think that music, you can carry it with you everywhere you go. So, did you do piano?
I did piano and vocal, yeah.
Oh, wow. So I mean, anywhere there's a piano, you can always play.
Yes.
There's been some periods in my little like kind of breather that I said I'm taking where if I don't sing for 1 week,
You feel
I'm like, why do I feel so like
you feel
depressed or I just feel kind of sad or something's not right. I feel misaligned. And then I've been doing TikTok lives every now and then or YouTube lives, and I just go and I connect. I sing for an hour and a half, like a bunch of songs, and I'm just in a totally different mood afterwards. It's
Um,
amazing. I
well,
mean, it's good for me too. So,
I would definitely check it out. So if the listeners want to find out more about you, your music, how could they connect and listen to your music and find out more?
how do people connect and listen to my music?
Yeah,
So, I'm active on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. All my links to everything is there. So I have a link tree in my Instagram page, direct links to Spotify. My music is out on all streaming platforms, but I tried to make it very easy to locate my website, my Spotify channel, and everything. So, and there's links to the YouTube page and TikTok page or the alternate all social media pages on all of those platforms.
brilliant.
And I am Kripa official underscore on all of the platforms because there's actually a lot of Kripas on the internet apparently. So
It's all aligned. That makes sense. That's really good.
yeah.
Really good that you've done that actually. And is there any major wins or successes you'd like to share with us before you go?
I just think the fact that I have the opportunity to release music that was something that I didn't even think that I was going to do when I started again on this music
Okay.
journey is a huge deal. I started when I started diving into music again, I wanted to just sing again, and I had this kind of little pipe dream, oh, maybe I can be one of those cover artists who just does covers and puts them out on Spotify and they do really well and then I was going to start performing. That was something that I wanted to do. And then I got totally shocked that I had this opportunity that somebody else saw this vision that I had of a style of music or this idea that I had and wanted to help me build that. So the fact that I can do that is such a blessing. I have so much gratitude for this. I'm grateful every day that I have had this opportunity to work with people that I've worked with and release this music. And it comes from such a genuine place of wanting to help. And I feel like my whole other background wasn't an accident. You know, I did that intentionally and I want to see how I can really connect and help people through music in so many different ways. And it's all a story that all kind of ties together.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. Well, good luck. Hope it all goes well. And I just want to say
Thank you.
thank you for your time, your story, and your expertise. And we wish you all the best.
Thank you so much for chatting with me. I enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.